Well, Sunday, February 7th. Everybody's home, getting ready for the distraction, and I hope that they're all home with a bunch of people around them without masks. Yeah, high-fiving and shit. Talking about the nonsense, getting together, breaking the rules. Again, for a predetermined end to a game of distraction that all of our testosterone, men and women, filter into instead of the tyranny. But hey, if we can break the damn rules and get a bunch of people together, talking, being human, I'll take it. I'll watch some of the game tonight, probably, a little bit. You know, our last chance to see Tom Brady before he goes back into cryo freeze until next season when he comes out looking younger like he does every year. Oh, the theatrics are hilarious. But when are we going to really realize the damage that's being done here? You know, these rules that are never going to go away, unless we make them go away, are affecting people more than you could possibly realize, especially the young. Putting a mask over a child, of course, is detrimental to the health of that child, but what about the child who's not wearing a mask, the baby, the little 9-month-old, the 15-month-old, who's gaga-gooing, you know, and interacting with the world based on the facial expressions, ooh, those kind of things that you do to a child to engage with them and to get them to engage with you. But now that child's looking, the baby is cute. Look how cute the baby is. And the baby's like, huh? Because you can't see your face. See, the formative years of children are being so destroyed. Not just by allowing little kids to go in and pee together in the same fucking bathroom, which is disturbing enough, you know, to do to a 6-year-old. But, you know, it's because we care about transgender rights. Yeah, okay. You know, we all know the truth behind that is to, of course, invoke the war, invoke the hatred towards the transgender population. The same way BLM is to invoke, you know, hatred and anger based in racism, just like Antifa is, you know, who claims to be anti-fascist, who supports all fascism and every fucking thing that they do, is there so that when you are actually against fascism and you speak out, that you could be dumped into that crowd. Every group has its reason for existing in the socially engineered aspect. And then what happens is the kids who are looking for belonging because they haven't gotten a sense of confidence or self-knowledge or love or any of that instilled in them from their formative years, are growing up easily swayed, looking to belong and you know, express themselves in ways that aren't even close to the the corporate end of these Antifas and BLMs and LBGTHGKL, MNQ organizations, which are presented as the extreme by the media, you know. When most of the people that are part of these things, you know, aren't part of it at all, you know. And it's done to pit us against each other. Well, now, take that mentality from a child growing up now, you know, generation lockdown, right? From 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, up to, give them 10 years down the road of masks, formative years of masks. How in the fuck are they even going to be able to interact, interrelate, interdiscuss, intercommunicate, interaccept other people when everyone's a set of fucking eyes walking around, you know? We are fucking these kids up in the hole by listening to this in the hole, worse than you could possibly imagine. And that includes, again, sending your fucking kids. My son's school is full of kids in masks, 8 hours a fucking day, 5 days a week. He's one of the only ones that is home doing the virtual, you know, which of course is bad as well, sitting in front of a fucking computer screen. So, you know, we tend to that on our own at home, knowing that, but Man, sending your kids to school all day in a fucking mask, 8 hours a day, kids getting sick, all over the place, breathing their own shit, limiting their oxygen. 5G and 60 wide gig routers going all around them soon, if not already. And the vaccine pressure, the miracle jab of an RNA-based experimental medical procedure, really. It's not even a vaccine by definition. But, you know, why should we care about those things? Get a test that's not testing for the virus, for a virus that hasn't been isolated or identified. We might as well have a vaccine that doesn't vaccinate, doesn't protect, and doesn't create immunities and call it a vaccine. We might as well, right? You know? And continue. Wait a minute, my one mask, I'll wear 2, 3, and 4 and really limit the oxygen. And then I'll ignore the fact that my cold air breath comes through it when I breathe in the cold. And not go, wait a minute, and if that's supposed to be blocking viral particles that attach to the, you know, human fucking particles that we breathe out, the human particulates, well then, it's all coming out anyway. Maybe we shouldn't be wearing these. Maybe we're being duped. Duh. Jackass. I love that clip. Again, gotta laugh at the stupidity, gotta try to shake awake those still walking along the fence, and gotta try to encourage those that are awake. Enough's enough, man. Gotta start speaking, gotta start really setting an example. I know, you know, myself included, you get sick and tired of saying the same things over and over again. And you get to a point where the people that have made their choice have made their choice. But it doesn't mean that your words continue to go upon deaf ears when you do it in different ways. That's what I've come to kind of realize about our little walk and talks here, and what I'm trying to put together at home as more of a concrete, quote unquote, I use the word informative show, but I'm not going to pretend and sit here and try to be, you know, some independent media person that brings you. We're just going to talk about things. We're just going to laugh at them. We're going to talk about them, the stupidity of them, the realization of them. We're going to connect dots. We're going to, you know, try to get an overall picture from a foundational point as the foundation of that show that I'm working on. And again, I'm completely by myself with not many resources and certainly no work, because I'm not going out and wearing fucking masks. All the under the table work's kind of dried up. So, you know, it's taking a little bit of time. So bear with me. And in the meantime, I will continue the walk and talks, because reaching people in any way that you can now is paramount. Because look, we're in trouble, man. Like I said, you know, this is going to come to every family's front door. We've experienced as a family already the experience of knowing someone who has, you know, been put in the hospital for various medical reasons that weren't, you know, anything to do with the nonsensical term being used for this coronavirus. And ended up, you know, not coming out. We've already had that experience with someone we know. Now, of course, it's with someone within the family, because the rest of the family, pretty much outside my own dwelling, on both sides, my wife and mine, they don't get this. They don't want to understand it. It's too scary. And they don't say that, you know. They just will not take the time to understand the truth, because, as we've talked about, you know, the absolute psychological and emotional and, you know, physical consequences for that in their lives, if you know, because you went through it, if you are already truly awakened to this bullshit, you know, can be pretty daunting. And most people aren't ready for it. The problem is time's ticking. Well, I actually have a point to all this, rather than just, you know, that I'm rambling on about people that won't get it. David Icke put out a video today. It's an old video from one of his old presentations at Wembley in 2012. I saw it for the first time in 2014 when I first actually discovered David Icke, you know, late in the process, but, you know, 7 years ago now, you know, from the political realm and Alex Joneses and things like that, made my way to the David Ickes and people like that. And the chosen part of the presentation he put out today is the last part of his Wembley 2012 presentation. And I'm going to put it with this. And it's extremely powerful. I remember when I first saw it, the frustration I had with others who would not sit and watch it or understand it, because it's so clear. But you look back 9 years ago to what he's saying, and you look at the world now, you can't help but see it. And I watched it again. I've seen it a few times, not in quite a while, but I've seen it quite a few times. And in watching it back today, when he put it out on his DavidIcke.com and BitChute and stuff, it really just kind of made me look around and see what he was talking about when he meant, in order for this to occur, they have to manifest it. They actually have to bring it into, you know, take actionable means to bring this into existence, right? And that the most dangerous time would be the more obvious this gets to people, when they have to start showing themselves. And it's the most dangerous time for the control system, because during this time, they will be throwing their cards on the table. They will be showing you that they are absolute tyrants. They don't give a fuck about you. They will show you what a farce all this is. The curtain will actually be revealed. You know, the apocalypse, the great reveal, which of course has been around us now for decades. The amount of information, history to connect it to, current happenings to put together, the realization of who owns everything, the research necessary to see what's going on has been out there for decades. But people can choose not to look at that. But when it begins to really manifest in their lives, they will have no choice but to see it. So, the control system that has been doing this social engineering of populations for, I don't know, ever, isn't throwing craps, hoping that, oh, I hope that they don't see what we're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They know how to manipulate fear. They know how to manipulate inept minds. How do we know they've created those inept minds? By the society we live in being basically steered, constructed and steered by them over the past centuries. The money people that own everything, and that includes all the governments. So, yeah, of course, experiences in people's lives have pulled them out of the brainwashed state most people have been put in. But most people are still in that brainwashed state. So, in order to not have this grand awakening that we would be responsible for by seeing these things and speaking and getting other people to think, they have to combat that with the complete opposite energy. And as history has shown them, and shows if you research, if I don't fall into this fucking lake here, it shows how to do this. It shows pitting people against each other, exterior blame for the current situations, and then that problem, of course, manifested by those that are trying to actually get you to choose what they want you to choose, yourself. Then, oh my God, I'm going to fall in this lake. Then steer people's perceptions with fear, using that ignorance, using the lack of understanding of self, the lack of understanding of history, all those things that make people easily suggestible, because they don't know who they are, they don't know what's going on around them, they don't have the confidence to be in the world and make a difference. They don't see themselves more than their job title or their friend crew or their role as a parent or whatever. They're easily led to blame others as all of this goes on around them. You see? And it's very easy for us, including myself, to just sit here and go, fucking retarded, man. I can't keep saying it over and over again. I can't. But you don't know what the words you say and what seeds you plant may come back to manifest through a later realization that that person has to the truth of all this, because the truth is the truth is the truth. Not my truth and your truth and his truth and her truth. It's the truth of what is happening. And once you discover it, it smacks you in the face. So if all of a sudden someone gets smacked in the face in their personal life by something that has nothing to do with you, but you've said things that all of a sudden connects to what they're rediscovering now, they're discovering now for themselves, and then all of a sudden it leads them into further awakening. It pulls them out of the politics and the religion and leads them into, well, you were part of that process. Because it's not a movie you're watching. You're participating in the movie. Or you're not participating in the movie. You're allowing the movie to occur all around you while you're chilling, you know? Or you're an actual participant. You're trying to drive the plot of the movie towards, you know, the ending we all love when we go to the movies, when the good guys win. And in order for this to work, it needs people. Large amounts of people, a quantum amount of people for that shift, that quantum shift to occur in consciousness, in awareness, in knowledge, in actionable behavior. Because what's happening now is on a set momentum being driven and steered by those who have an agenda and know how to manipulate the population into who does not have this information into doing what they want. But if that population begins to actually realize all of these things and no longer cooperates in larger and larger numbers, it cannot do what it wants to do, no matter what the fuck it does. It is such a simple, rebellious act to rebellious against the control system to take back your own mind, heart, and soul. You know what I mean? If that's rebellious, well, you know, and you know, we're gonna make the domestic violence or the domestic terrorist violent bill, and anyone that dares to want any little bit of freedom during this shit is a fucking domestic terrorist. Yeah, put it on there, fuckers. You know what I mean? Because you know what? I have faith and hope. That's why I do this still. That the more this manifests, the more the police walk down and just bat people in the fucking back of the head, old men in the head with a fucking baton, or encroach upon a peaceful fucking demonstration of people that don't want to wear fucking masks, and they understand the science is fucking, you know, not only right in their corner, but the common fucking sense of covering your blowhole, what that's going to do, you know, to health. And then people in uniform begin to encroach for no reason, and, you know, as all this starts to happen, people are going to see it more and more and more, which is why they got to bring in the lockdown, which is why lockdown, of course, already occurring around the globe, not quite here yet. They need to manufacture the direction in which they want this civil war here to go. They want us all fighting each other, and then afraid, and then they're going to save us with the police state. And then, thank goodness, the police state's already there as Corona gets out of control. And then you need to go somewhere, papers, please, which were already there to begin with. It's so clear, it's dumb. And how they're going to do that, whether they do it by restoring everyone's faith in the voting system and having Trump come back in on the 4th, or they have the old man, to am the, but I don't understand. Sign this? Okay. Or they have that guy in there. It's still going to go on if we continue to perpetuate this system and believe it's bullshit. You have to walk away. You have to realize enough's enough. And again, everyone's going to have that chance, and everyone's going to have to make that choice. Whether they make it consciously, do the right thing, consciously do the wrong thing, or unconsciously do the wrong thing. Because if you're doing the right thing, it's a conscious act, believe me. Whether or not that happens in those ways are going to determine where we go from there. But everyone's got to make the choice. Every single body, every single person. And the more this grows, and the more families are affected and they can't get in to see loved ones dying, and kids are getting sick because they're wearing fucking masks and they're being dehumanized, and their social skills are destroyed and disgusting because they're not around their peers and able to express themselves and have fun. They have nothing to look forward to. They're sitting on a fucking screen every day. When they're forced to be given a vaccine because a parent wants to keep them safe, or I'm going to keep them safe. You know, all these things have one thing in common. You and I have to choose to put them in the mask, to send them to school, to give them the vaccines, to encourage or ignore this desocialization of our youth, and to continue to go on blindly, or to step into it and not allow this to become their future. Also, by teaching them what's going on here, encouraging them to understand the truth themselves. One only understands the truth when they understand it themselves. You can tell somebody something till you're blue in the face. Once they get it themselves, it's a whole different thing. So, if you think you're protecting your kids by not telling them what the fuck's going on here, and you're sending them in and telling them to do what you're told and flatten the curve and we'll get through it and blah, 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 you are choosing that. As I said, the common denominator. You, me, you, me, you, me. We're doing it. We're not doing it. No one's coming and doing it yet. No one's at your door. It's not Nazi Germany yet. It's not Mussolini yet, or Stalin, and the regimes that eventually were able to move in and physically take people's rights. We're not there yet. It's happening around the globe in other places, sure, they're there. But here in this country, they're not there yet. They can't be, because you have the will to say no, and what everyone else doesn't have, the means to back it up. It's what they want. They want those means turned on each other. They want people afraid of guns. They want them completely outlawed so that only they can have them. They want, this horrific perception of what is about to come, so that when the economy crashes too, they certainly have things to blame, instead of taking the blame themselves for stopping the global economy, which is, of course, killing the money velocity, which means they can print and print and print and print and print it without repercussions yet. But once that money starts flowing again, after the central bank buys everything with dollars they're being given by the Fed, so that the government can own everything and they can incorporate a governmental and corporate merger of owning, controlling, manufacturing, and distributing resources, resources, things you need to live. Once that's finished, at a time of their choosing, we will have Venezuela times 1,000, since the dollar, of course, is the global reserve currency, and they have their Great Reset plan all set to replace that old system that the virus caused, and this president caused, and riots caused, and speaking out against government caused, and conspiratorial people caused, and people didn't get the vaccine caused, and all the ways they're gonna fucking spin it without telling you they did it. Psst, psst. Let me tell you, they did it. They did it. They're doing it. But we just need the right man in there, right? Wah, 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 wah. All right, I'm kind of just rambling on because I'm out walking in the snow. Felt like talking. But the reality of it is, this calm before the storm, ooh, is the storm a-coming? And our reaction will drive where it goes. If our reaction is not based in truth, morals, righteous acts, the true understanding of what's going on here, and they're able to pit us all against each other, it's the easy way out. But if we take this time to realize it now, to realize every fucking thing, right down to the score of the fucking Super Bowl today, by the way, is contrived and predetermined. And if you don't know that, you cannot make decisions based from based on anything that will be good for your future and our future, because believing in this bullshit and not taking in the level of evil at work here, and simply provably, how could that be? Well, you know, again, it's what our history is full of. What the ruling class has done forever. Forever. A little Sandlot for you. Forever. You'll notice I quote movies and shows a lot. Shit I grew up. It sticks in my head. Me and my friends always kind of do it, so it's a habit of mine. We say shit like that to each other, and we know where it comes from. So, deal with it. Or don't. I don't give a shit. But the bottom line is continuing to put this message out until we can't is the only way. And then, of course, living it in your own life, right down to the very bitter end, if you have to look this in the eye and take a consequence that is perceived as scary or you know, loss of I don't know, an income or a house or even your life, you know, because the future they're trying to bring in for our kids and grandkids is the scariest bitch you'll ever want to meet. And that's from Cheers. Mostly because she's the scariest bitch you ever want to meet. If you know that line, you're laughing. If not, you're not. And I don't care, because I'm here to entertain myself. If I laugh, then my achieved. You know what I mean? I'm a one-man audience, you know. All right. Well, I guess that's really all I want to get into. I'm going to put a bunch of links, like I always do. Jeff Berwick was great today. I'm going to put that David Icke link up that he put up just today. He just put it up today. But like I said, it's 9 years old. Worth every second. The entire presentation is worth every second, so you should really go back and watch the whole damn thing. There's 3 parts before it. It was an all-day event like he used to do. I'll put, like I always do, Greg Manarino. The only person you really should be paying attention to when it comes to, I don't want to say the only person, but the most knowledgeable person you should be paying attention to when it comes to the economy and the stock market, Greg Manarino. James Corbett had a great interview with Richard Groves a couple days ago. I'm going to put that up here. You know, and I always put my addresses up because, you know, I've put down the even attempt to go out there and try to work in a job with this nonsense, you know. I can't do it. I can't sacrifice my principles and put on a mask and come home, whatever, you know. You know, and the work that I used to do after my last career of working with the youth of 16 years, it was side work that I used to just be able to do with my buddy. And of course, if you have a small business, you don't have a lot of side work right now. If you're in the union, you got a lot of work. Most of my friends are in construction unions as well. So, you know, side work dried up a bit. So again, I've turned 100% to this. This is really all I have interest in. Anyway, is getting this truth out, because to me, there's really nothing else going on in the fucking world besides saving the future. So, you know, I put various ways to donate up, and you know, the funds that would come in would go to, you know, help bring my other show into a presentable, you know, way that I want to do. I don't want to throw something together. That's what this is, you know, the walk and talks. I want to not only make it visually and aesthetically good, but I want to be able to be more on point and to build a foundational library of the big picture for people on a weekly basis, you know. I have people that I want to talk to. I'll be talking to myself. I'll have, you know, again, better control and more of an outline of what I want to do each week. And that's my goal. So, you know, that's why I put the donation links up. Because I also have to feed my family. And my little pension, you know, gets us by barely. So, you know, it certainly will be done regardless. I will do this even if I'm on the streets doing it. But I'd like to make it better. So if you're able to, every little cent helps. And more importantly, start doing this yourself. Start stepping into it. Just even if you're not on here, just do it in your life. Do it around your friends and coworkers. Speak the truth if you know it. Because every moment of silence when the lie is spoken is a Peter moment, if you understand that story in the Jesus stories, the denial of Jesus 3 times before the cock crowed that Jesus said Peter would do. That's the denial of truth through fear, you know, denying knowing him. It's the same thing as hearing the lie and not speaking up because you're afraid. It's the moral of the story. So if everybody stops waiting for the hand to swoop out and save them because they believeth in himeth, and they internalize the concepts and actually start to manifest them in their own lives, then we'll have a chance. Then you're listening to what the man fucking said in the stories. So we're at my half-hour mark, so I'm going to cut it there. But that's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. So, see if we can give you a quick little view. I just made it out to the lake. I don't know how many edit scenes I have to put in. So there's a view to close out with. Love you guys. Get learning, get speaking.